Hey everybody, how's it going? How's it going? It says I've been unmuted, so hopefully that's true. Yeah, looks like it. Anyway, we're here. We're using a hybrid of softwares today, and I just realized I don't have wax in, so this might really end up hurting my lip. Hi, Shane. Good to see you. So I'm using Streamlabs Talk Studio. That used to be Melon app for streaming, but I'm still using a Restream's chat application, which does make setup a little more complicated, but I just like their chat app better. And because I'm not paying for it anymore, Facebook is not included. Sorry about that, Facebook, but Facebook is not included in the chat right now. Iceland calling, the countdown reminds me of a church camp I ever went to. Yeah, it's built into to Streamlabs. So I'd forgotten actually that it does. I don't even know how to unset that. It's like a setting you can say, like, when you click go live, start a time, like start a countdown. And I don't even know where to shut it off. So we had a 5-minute countdown. So I did try to remember to start it earlier this week. But nonetheless, yeah, that's working. So yeah, I have chat is now a separate little application for me. So I can see things and it should work like it's always worked, even though I'm not using Restream to actually do this streaming because it's so expensive. It's like, I don't know, like $490 a year for Restream. And right now I'm using Streamlabs, which I use for other stuff too, and it includes this one. The only thing is the Streamlabs native chat thing is what we tried the other day, and it just kind of stunk. You know, it just wasn't great, where it like just sends my stuff out everywhere and the stuff doesn't show up on the screen right. So anyway, Dad, hello from the desktop to the phone. It's obviously Christmas week. We're gonna do our scavenger hunt, which really isn't a scavenger hunt. It's just I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a list of tasks, and you do one and then go to the other. But we've been doing it ever since my now adult kids were in diapers. We've been doing it every year. We're going to do it again this year. It might end up being a little bit different this year. I can't really say in what way, in case any of them are watching, because sometimes they watch. But we'll see how it goes. So that'll be this Tuesday. I don't even know what time, but it might have to be earlier in the day. I think it'll have to be earlier in the day because I believe my eldest and her family are going to her husband's family for dinner on Christmas Eve. So it probably will be earlier that we do the actual Powers family Christmas Eve scavenger hunt thing. So anyway, it'll be streaming at some point in some way. I don't even know. I haven't planned that far ahead. I did just get verification from my wife which family member I have in our gift exchange, because I didn't remember who I had. And turns out Christmas is coming very soon, so I really need to get gifts for the person who I had. And yeah, I think it's gonna be my chore tomorrow, is to get gifts for that person. My wife and I haven't really gotten each other gifts, which is interesting. I don't know that we got each other anything big last year either. I feel like I got her something, but I don't remember what. You're holding the interwebs down. Well, that's cool. That's cool. A friend. So he's very private, so I won't call him out by name. But a high school friend of mine, like my best friend in high school, is not married, doesn't have kids, and him and his girlfriend are currently on a cruise, and like an ocean cruise. And I think they're going to be on an ocean cruise all week. So Christmas, you know, in an ocean cruise, I don't know. It sounds kind of fascinating to me. I mean, I guess if you didn't have any family members to like have a traditional Christmas with, be a thing to do, right? I don't know. Anyway, we're doing the traditional Christmas thing. I'm not sure who's hosting. Probably my middle daughter, because of celiac issues. And usually what we do for Christmas dinner is make homemade pizza. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, anybody else have any awesome Christmas plans that they're doing? I'll be completely honest. I am working as hard as I can not to let the holiday blues get to me. I'm generally very down and depressed this time of year. I'm trying really hard not to be. So hopefully that continues on. Iceland calling. Many of our family members are out of Iceland also, something a small gathering. Yeah, I understand. Understand. Hip Dad saw my daughter and grandkids on Wednesday. That's cool. That is cool. We saw, let's see, yesterday we babysat our youngest granddaughter. So my daughter could have like a little fun mommy daughter time with the older granddaughter. And you know, they just got to go shopping and stuff together, which is cool. And I'm glad that she does that from time to time, just so that the older granddaughter doesn't get jealous of Murphy taking up all of her time. So your depression was last week. So I think I mentioned. Did I mention? Maybe it happened after Sunday. Maybe I talked about. I think it happened after Sunday. I haven't put up a Christmas tree, like me, put up the Christmas tree in the 30 years that my wife and I have been together, because I'm always so depressed around this time of year. And for some reason, putting up a Christmas tree and decorating the house, it just brings out the absolute worst in my emotional state for some reason. And I don't have a great reason why. But the only time I really help is if something's required, like I have to be a tall person to like help put the top of the tree on or whatever. But this year, for whatever reason, I put up a Christmas tree and put up lights while my wife was at work and surprised her when she got home. And she was actually pretty excited about it because it never happened before. So anyway, I think that's a good thing. But I would be silly if I pretended that I didn't get down at all during the holidays. Yeah, overwhelming. And it probably is about it. I don't know. It's just always been that way, but nonetheless. We are having dinner. Most of the family is having dinner tonight. My youngest has plans with somebody, but we're having a pizza, honestly. So it's going to be a lot of pizza this week. That's a good week. We're going to have pizza, and I don't know if we're doing anything else, but yeah, so it'll be fun tonight. Shane, yes, and she was. I mean, my goal wasn't like to get her choked up or anything, but yeah, she was. Yeah, her eyes got a little watery, even just because not because it was like, oh, good, that's done, but like because I did it. It was strange, but I also maybe part of why I was able to get it done is last year after Christmas, I bought several sets of Govee smart lights when they were 75% off on clearance. And they just had them all year. And so this year I put them up, and then, yeah, I'll show you. Can I bring this down to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to switch over if I can. Hey, there we go. Why can't I? Oh no. My Stream Deck is not working. Weird. Okay, looks like it's trying to work now. There we go. So yeah, I made this. So I put them all up, and then I installed the Govee MQTT integration into Home Assistant, and I created this dashboard. And then on top of that, I didn't have a new enough Android tablet, but I have an old iPad, and I installed like kiosk software, and there is now a tablet in the front room with these controls on it, so anybody can manage all the different light things on the tree. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. Then of course that means that there can be timing. So like every morning, just as the sun's starting to come up, the Christmas tree turns on, and then at 11 o'clock at night, all the lights turn off. The window is this big like Govee curtain light with like scenes on it, and that turns on once it gets dark. So it'll turn on here well, I think it turns on. It might just be at 5 o'clock. I might not have timed it with the sun, but anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then like the musical tree, this is a thing that turns the tree lights into listen to music mode, and then I have a Sonos speaker under the tree near the microphones for the lights, and it's a scene that selects a classic holiday playlist and sets the volume and starts the music playing in random order while it also turns on the lights in musical mode. So I mean, just fun stuff like that. And since I put it on a kiosk tablet, anybody can play with it, and they don't have access to the other tabs, right? They just have access to this. And it even has a cool screensaver, the kiosk does, so that after like, I don't know, 5 minutes, the tablet just becomes a photo frame thing. And it has like the time and a little weather box on it. And then it's just like an album of photos that it sorts through. And whenever you tap it, boom, you get this dashboard back. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I don't know, I mean, I did this days after setting up the tree, so I don't think this was the motivation for setting up the tree. But you know, it was still pretty cool that I got to play with stuff too. I cannot express how much I love Home Assistant. It is really becoming one of those projects that it's about ready for mainstream now. It used to like require a bunch of manual editing of YAML files to make it work, but they've gotten just about everything hammered out to work with the GUI, and it's just super cool. I'm very, very impressed with Home Assistant. I do so much automation with it. I do all of my bird feeder cam stuff is all done with Home Assistant being the orchestrator of when it starts, when it stops, when it detects motion on cameras and switches to different scenes and stuff. So anyway, yeah, love Home Assistant. I might have to, if I ever get back time to do videos, I might have to just do a bunch of Home Assistant stuff, because I don't think people realize how nice it is to have home automation stuff that doesn't require cloud connectivity, right? I mean, you can keep everything in-house. It's really super cool. So anyway, but I digress. Really like these limoncello ones. I don't know. It's just it's fancier than lemon. If you haven't had the LaCroix limoncello or whatever it is, they're pretty good. Oh, well, let's see what else happens around Christmas time. Now that the kids are adults, we usually have mimosas with breakfast, not for breakfast, but with breakfast. And breakfast, let's see, we normally do cinnamon rolls for Thanksgiving. We might do that for Christmas too. I don't know that we really have a breakfast plan for Christmas. It's really hard to say. But yeah. I'm not sure where it's all happening either. Iceland calling in using GP or ChatGPT to help me break down group salary contracts. Oh. I have set up a local LLM. Just, I don't know, I'm not super like big into AI, but I just wanted to see how efficient it was to run some of them on a local machine. And just on my Mac Studio here, I did run some LLMs like the Llama something and Gemini from Google. I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I don't have any preferences of like one model over another. I know you can just get a bunch of different models from the Hugging Face website, which I don't know the actual URL, but I mean, if you search Hugging Face AI, it'll give you stuff. And then I just have like a GUI front end on Mac that allows me to load up whichever one I want. And I mean, it works in pretty much real time. I don't know how useful they are compared to ChatGPT. That's the thing. I'm not sure. Because I don't use them, I don't really have a great way to compare. So I would recommend trying them though. I mean, even if it's kind of slow, just so you could see what the output is, if it's useful. I mean, if you have a GPU, then they work faster, but if you don't, they still work, just a little bit slower. So it's worth trying. Shane, mimosa. It's orange juice and champagne. Yeah, it's just orange juice and champagne. So alcoholic breakfast, or alcoholic beverage, but one that is generally acceptable for breakfast or brunch, mainly brunch. It's a big brunch thing, but yeah. I think everybody in our family likes mimosas. So, oh, okay, Shane, and so Gemini, I do distinctly remember that their Gemini's model or LLM or trained up, whatever it is one of the things that you can load up locally on your local machine. So I don't know how that compares to using it directly from Google. I also don't know if it's the most recent version that you're allowed to use for free. I don't know how. I just don't know enough about AI. I've been calling old mining rigs for GPU power. Yeah. Especially if they're NVIDIA. I know that it generally works better with NVIDIA, all the AI stuff. I only know that because I have friends who do a lot with AI. Dun, dun. Okay. You don't run out. Okay. Yeah. And I know that my friends also have like accounts with OpenAI, the chat GPT stuff. And I don't know if I just don't know. I can't even really talk smart about AI at all. I just don't use it for anything. I played with it for image generation with like thumbnails. But I mean, you know how long it's been since I really did stuff with YouTube a whole lot. So I haven't even done that a whole lot. And that was with oh gosh, what was the thing that I had to use Discord to interact with it, which was a real pain in the butt. I don't remember what it was now. Midjourney? Is that the thing? I think Midjourney, something Journey. Also more visual and for Explore Globe Engineer. Yeah, and I know my friends who use AI more are programmers, and so like there's Copilot, and then there's like another one that OpenAI has that'll just like help you write code or something. Again, I'm just not a user of it, so it'll probably replace me in everything I do, both making learning content and writing. I mean, that's what those are my skill sets, right? Traditionally, I've been a writer, like magazine and stuff like that. That's probably going to all get taken over by AI, and then drawing crappy comics, and AI can already draw better than I can. And I think it won't be too long before AI generated videos can teach things just as good as yours truly. We'll have to see. I'm irreplaceable. I appreciate that. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not as confident. I think maybe I'll be able to squeak out the rest of my employable years in a way that can help me. But I like people who are like my grandkids. I don't know what's going to happen with AI and the creative world. We are always promised that computers would come to power and take over all the mundane things so that we could spend our time with the arts. And then it turns out that AI is much better at just doing the arts. So all that's left for human meat sacks to do is the mundane stuff. So, yeah, that's depressing. Another project I've been working on. Have you ever heard of Immich? IMMICH, and I think it's just a play on the word image, but it's a local image library, and it's completely open source and completely free, and it has mobile apps too, so it will keep your phone stuff in sync with your self-hosted library. It seems pretty cool, and there's like a there's a kiosk thing that they have as well. So like if you go to, let me make sure I get the URL correct. I think it's, oh no, it's not kiosk. What I think I did photos. Yeah, so if you go to photos.brainofsean.com, yeah, I'll try to type it in. Just an example. Photos.brainofsean.com. So this is just it's hosted on my image server, and it's just like this kiosk mode where you tell it what library you want to see, and it will just go through and display like a picture frame. Hi, good fishy. Hello, hello. This is my youngest. I didn't know you were at work tonight. So yeah. Oh, Northern Chimp. Hello. So anyway, if you click on that link, it just takes you to, it should scroll through. I think it's just the album that I have is just the Bing image of the day, and yeah, it should just scroll through stuff. Oh no, maybe it's not the Bing image of the day. Maybe this is. Oh, maybe it is. I can't tell. It's either that or like things that I downloaded from NASA, or just yeah, it's hard to say. It's just a bunch of background images. But anyway, it's just cool. And it's just a way you can make a photo frame out of just an album, and then point people to it, or point like a tablet to it or whatever. It's kind of cool. So Good Fishy, you are at work. Tonight is another showing of the Nutcracker Ballet, I believe, where you work. And you know what? I thought Lydia was going to that, but now where there's dinner at her house, so maybe dinner is before they go? I don't know. I should text everybody because it seems like they had dinner. Huh. Let's see. Oh, we're not having pizza anymore. Don't you guys have tickets for the LA tonight? All right. Yeah, it is. It's definitely my local weather. I set it up for, it's all for me. This is not a, this is not like a, hey, you know, it's, yeah, it's a specific thing, and it should be my local time. Maybe it's not my local time. Does it show your local time, Northern Chimp? I'm curious, because it should show my local time, but I guess maybe it doesn't. Maybe it pulls it from the end user. And also, yeah, 19.9 is definitely Fahrenheit. Hey, wow. So that's something new. Apparently Streamlabs has built-in alerts. Gene Cooper, thank you for subscribing. It shows your local time. Okay, that ballet is ruined for me. Okay, so I have to say, last night we were watching, and so my wife, she danced for years. I mean, like, I don't know, 11, 12 years, something like that. And to the point where she even did tryouts to like be in a dance company, you know, after she graduated high school and like college years and stuff. And, you know, she ended up not. So that was, so she didn't, but dance is a huge part of her history. And so when we see ballets, I can appreciate the dancing, and I love that she likes it. But I was saying last night, I was messaging some, honestly, it was Linux Journal friends, and I was saying, like, I can appreciate the dance, but I'll be honest, trying to suss out a storyline is it's a lot. And it was actually Kyle Rankin who said, I just told him I was at the ballet, and he's like, oh, I bet you're at the Nutcracker then, because yeah, without knowing the story, that one can be tough to figure out based on just the dances. And he was right. Of course, that's what I was watching. And then and it was during intermission. I wasn't texting during the ballet. It was during the intermission that I was texting. And my wife looked over my shoulder and saw the phone, and she was like, oh, I can explain it all to you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I can just appreciate the dancing. And I'm like, it just looks like a fever dream, like a drug addled fever dream to me. Like, I think maybe this is about psilocybin shrooms. You know, that's the whole point of this, being an obnoxious husband. And she's like, it is not. It's a great storyline. And then the first number after intermission, there are people dancing, but it's in these crazy psychedelic outfits with like crazy colored wigs. And she leans over and she said, okay, this isn't a great example of it not being shrooms, but really there is a story here. Like, she had just never seen this particular take that they were doing. It was like shiny bodysuits and like crazy colored hair. And it was very psychedelic. So anyway, Scott, yeah, I mean, she said like, oh, you know, yeah, this is like the Sugar Plum Fairy. This is like the Winter Queen or something. I don't even remember. But it was, there was some great dancing. There were like 2 or 3 dancers that really stood out as just amazing. So yeah, it was a good time, but I was just joking about the storyline and yeah, it was funny. Let's see. So it's giving you UK time. So that's interesting that the photos website, the kiosk mode of image, IMMICH is the software. So it gives local time for the user going, but then it shows my weather. And I mean, I had to put in my open weather API and give it a specific longitude and latitude. So, I mean, it makes sense that it would give my weather, but yeah. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. And yeah, I didn't take any of the images for what it's worth. It's either the Bing Image of the Day album or the NASA, and it looks like Bing Image of the Day. So I don't know. Maybe it's all just Bing Image of the Day stuff. And yeah, I just have them in a folder. I use them as rotating backgrounds on all my computers. And I just, since Image was storing all of my photos, it seemed an appropriate folder to test the kiosk mode from. Drosselmeyer. Oh, and that was the thing too. I mean, of course, she did explain all about Drosselmeyer and stuff, but the person playing Drosselmeyer is a coworker of hers at the bookstore. And so like I knew him, you know, so that was cool. But yeah, still it's hard to suss out the actual story if you don't know. I was assigned homework. We're gonna do it as a family. We're gonna watch Barbie's Nutcracker. Apparently the Barbie Nutcracker movie is surprisingly good and explains the story very well. So oh yeah, it is what it is. Oh, and it has a, so Image, again, I feel like I'm selling this software and that's not my point. It's open source software, but it has duplicate detection and deletion built in, and it has, you can even do hardware accelerated machine learning for detecting duplicates and detecting faces and stuff, kind of like Apple's photo software does, but of course it's all open source and it's all self-hosted, and it's pretty cool. And then there's a command line utility that you can upload bulk photos, and that's what I'm doing now. I have an old iPhoto library that I'm not sure if it has photos that are not in our iCloud account, and so I'm uploading the entire 163,000 photos, and if there's duplicates, it tests by hash, so it won't actually upload them. So I'm excited about it. And apparently I haven't been moving enough. Sorry about that. So anyway. Oh, and there is no late show of tonight. So I thought my daughters had, I thought my daughter was watching the ballet tonight, but no, apparently not. So, okay. We're often looking for a movie to watch at Christmas. Barbie's Nutcracker's now on this. Yeah, I guess so. Especially if you don't really know the story. I was told that the Barbie's Nutcracker movie is will tell the story fairly well. Because my girls also chimed in our family chat. Yeah, Dad, you've seen that movie. We all know the story of the Nutcracker because of it. So I'm like, okay, okay, okay. The Balanchine version of the Nutcracker. See, you've already lost me now. I was really proud of myself knowing about Drosselmeyer, but I don't know what Balanchine or Balanchini. I don't know what that means. I could Google it, but I kind of like thinking that it's just some fever dream, which I guess it kind of is. I don't know. It also didn't help that when the Nutcracker comes to life, the outfit that they used, it wasn't perfectly clear to me that it was supposed to be the same Nutcracker that they were playing with and dancing with in like the opening scenes. So once I realized, oh, okay, I mean, that's supposed to be the actual Nutcracker that she's dancing with. That's cool. But anyway, and the main girl, who I'm sure has a name, but I don't know the girl, the one who like falls in love with the Nutcracker, or maybe she just plays with it. I don't know. The one she dances with the Nutcracker. She is somebody who works at the coffee shop that my middle daughter manages, and my other two daughters work there part time. So it's somebody who like she could be making my coffee tomorrow morning. And that's just kind of cool. I like to, it's interesting to have that much talent local. It was a surprisingly good ballet for all local talent, not like a dance company that travels from place to place. I was very impressed that they were all just locals. So anyway, no spoilers. You don't know the story. Okay, I could tell you the spoilers, and any spoilers I know aren't gonna. Oh, you muted me. Oh, okay. It's okay. I won't spoil. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know that I could spoil much about it. There's a Nutcracker. I mean, that should be pretty clear. Anyway, and yeah, spoiling a ballet that's been around for who knows how many years. I don't feel too bad about it. But yeah, watch the Barbie one, I guess. That's what I have to do too. Scott worked backstage for almost 20 years. I did know that about you. I didn't know specifically about that you were backstage during Nutcracker stuff. I knew like you were in theater, so that includes ballet stuff too. That's cool. That's cool. We went to, I think it might have been the Nutcracker that we went to a couple years ago down in Grand Rapids, which is a bigger town. It's like 3.5 hour drive away, and they have like a big theater, and it was like an international dance company that travels all over doing it, but yeah, they're obviously very professional, but still the local people here did a much better job than I expected. It was very impressive. Very impressive. So, yeah. See if I can. Looks like maybe we're having chicken teriyaki bowls for dinner. No, not pizza tonight. And the chicken for myself and for my wife are chicken in quotes because we're vegetarians, but there's fake chicken. In fact, let me comment to my family. We have some fake chicken cubes if you'd like me to bring them. I'll check though to see if they're certified gluten-free. If not, we won't bring them. All right. Started in 92. In 1992, I was still in high school, my friend. I mean, just for another year. Graduated in 93. But nonetheless, make me feel young. That doesn't happen much anymore. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So, anyway, what other nerdy stuff is going on? Not a whole lot. I have, so let's see. Here, I'll go back over. We'll just talk more nerdy stuff here. So this is my Home Assistant server, obviously. And if we look at my Office tab here, if you look down here, this garage, so this is now where the my data center is, you know, like my micro data center where I do all my self-hosting and stuff on the fiber internet in my daughter's garage. Anyway, I have, it's like a big, huge battery backup system. And it has a huge lithium iron phosphate 24-volt battery and a big solar inverter. I don't have solar connected to the inverter, but I have that ability to do that. And then it'll keep, you know, the 24-volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery will keep the entire rack running for like 2 hours or 2.5 hours if the power goes out, which is great. And then I have something called Solar Assistant, I think it's called. Let me see if I can. I think it's called Solar Assistant. Yeah. Yeah, let me see if I can get this tab over there. All right. Well, I didn't necessarily want to show that. Well, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Because you need the, I didn't remember if you had to log in to see it. So anyway, this is it's Solar Assistant. It's not open source, but it runs on a little Raspberry Pi, which is great. And then you get to see all the information about the battery and like just all sorts of stuff like current power and stuff. And then I connected this Solar Assistant software that's running on a Raspberry Pi. I connected it to Home Assistant using MQTT. And so then I get like the rack, like how much power it's currently using. Like it's currently using like, you know, right around 800 watts or so. And then I can have notifications like if the rack power usage, there are other things like input voltage. And if the input voltage drops below 100 volts, it would mean that the power is out. And so then I get a notification, hey, the power is out, you know, at the garage. And so I have like 2 hours to either go out there and shut things down gracefully or, you know, just to say, hey, a circuit might have popped or something. Anyway, the problem is that Raspberry Pi will just lock up randomly. And I think it's the software. I think it's the Solar Assistant software. But over this weekend, I got some, here, we can go back. I got these pre-flashed Tasmota, and pre-flashed only because it's a pain in the butt to flash them, but they're just outlets. I mean, you can get Wi-Fi enabled outlets all over, but they're Tasmota, which means it's all open source and it's all local, so I don't need cloud support. And I plug the Raspberry Pi in using that. So if it goes offline, I can just go to the web page of the outlet, turn it off, wait, 10 seconds, turn it back on and start it up. So those are the kinds of things that I find fascinatingly fun to do. And Home Assistant just allows all that stuff to happen. So yeah, that's fun too. Let's see. The local store makes a great vegan chicken wrap. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It's amazing how good plant-based meat substitutes have gotten over the past decade or so. It used to just be soy burger patties that were just taste like cardboard and they were horrible, but now there are some amazing options out there, truly amazing. So, Scott, you were 1 year out of the Air Force. Wow. All right. You know what? Iceland Calling. So I know I've mentioned before that my daughter, middle daughter, and her husband were going to take their honeymoon in Iceland. It just didn't work out. I think the cost was just too much, and so they went to Mexico. It's much cheaper to go to Mexico, and also he's bilingual, so he speaks fluent Spanish, and it made the trip to Mexico very cool because they were treated extremely well. He is his nationality is half Mexican, half Colombian, and he speaks fluent Spanish. And so when they were in Cabo, they were just treated extremely well, just based on his nationality and his ability to speak a language. So I'm glad that they went there because they did get treated so well. But they wanted to go to Iceland. I would love to go to Iceland. One of the people in their friend group is from Iceland, and yeah, she's an interesting person, and I think that she's convinced them, that it's definitely the kind of place to go and see. There's a lot of things that I would want to see that my wife probably wouldn't be all that interested in. Like I would want to see some of those geothermal power plants, because that's the stuff that just fascinates me. But I mean, that doesn't sound like a tourist trap kind of thing, but that's the kind of thing I'm like, I just want to, that's just so cool. But I digress. Yeah. So I was asked to, when I start putting more stuff on YouTube again, yes, of course, to do more Linux training, especially to finish up Linux Plus, but also to do stuff like Home Assistant, and all the projects that I use Linux in the background and all that sort of open source passion to do. Like I should do a video on Image because I found it fascinating, and like Docker Compose is now different. It's like an add-on to Docker instead of a whole separate program, and that confused the heck out of me, but it should be, but it's something that it was difficult for me to figure out, and a video making it simpler to figure out would be a lot of fun. Iceland Calling. Yeah, thank you. Geothermal plants are really cool. And it's one of the, you live in one of the few places in the world where it's super practical. Yeah, anyway. Northern Chimp. So that was easier than having to make sense of old modern, old north. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Have I ever used Butler for Home Assistant? I have not. No, I have not. And I know that there's like a new voice device that works really well. I bought, we're getting close to, but hold on, I'll show you what I got, and I never used it either. So when they first started doing their voice, like the year of the voice, I bought two of these. Adam Echo. I thought it was going to just allow me to create like an Amazon Alexa alternative, but it turns out that it's just this really tiny box, and it doesn't have constant voice recognition. You have to actually press the button. You can't hear it, but it's clicking, and you press the button and then talk, and it listens, but it is not what I thought. So I never actually did anything with it, which is a little bit sad because, like I said, I bought two of them. But I didn't watch the video, but I saw Jeff Geerling just did a video on like a little puck-looking audio device, and that integrates with Home Assistant really well. I also do pay for the Nabu Casa integration, where you can use Alexa and Google Home stuff, especially for like text to speech and stuff like that. But I don't like to rely on any cloud connectivity for actually doing things in my house, which seems, I know it seems pretentious of me, but I just like to have all of the stuff local. I do like to have the ability to use, and it's funny, the Apple Siri can work without the cloud, but if you have internet connectivity, it uses the cloud. It's this weird thing where it can work offline, but it doesn't have to, but it usually doesn't work. But, or it can work with the internet not connected, but if the internet's connected, it does most of its processing in the cloud. But nonetheless, I find that voice communication is not something that I use nearly as much as I thought. So that's weird. I thought about, that when this stuff just came out, one of the ways you can access Home Assistant via voice is to get an old POTS telephone, plain old telephone system, like phone, like I don't have one here. Like I have several funny phones. Like I don't think I have one of the plastic Garfield phones, but just like old telephones, and you can pick it up. And as soon as you pick it up, it's listening, and you can have it do something. And I thought that would be a neat way to do it, because then it's not always listening, but you can just have like phones all over the house, pick it up and say, please turn on the television or something. I don't know. Yeah, just analog phones. Use the voice for lights quite often. I could see that. So what I end up doing is I use motion detectors for lights very often. Well, as you can tell, like I wasn't moving enough, so the lights turned off in my office. But like in our kitchen, and I do things like the motion detection sees when somebody comes into the kitchen, and then depending on if it's before or after when the sun goes down, which lights turn on. If it's during the day, we have like these really bright ceiling can lights. And if it's during the day, we'll have those turn on to make it brighter so you can see. But if it's at night, after the sun is set, we don't have those can lights go on, because then it's overpoweringly bright. Whereas just the more subtle lighting in the kitchen is more than enough. So motion detection. And then when there's no motion, it shuts off after like, 10 minutes or something. So anyway. Yeah, and we, I have, I'll show you one more thing. I know we're running out of time, but hold on. So this one is just an RF. It's like 433 megahertz RF link switches, and it's got like battery on the inside. In our bedroom, we have one with 3 buttons, almost exactly like this, but it's Zigbee. It's just, different protocol. It was before I started using the less expensive RF link stuff. And so we have these next to our bed, and we could use voice to turn lights on and off. But in our bedroom, we have, my wife and I each have lamps with like smart bulbs. So the lamps are always on. And then like one button shuts both lamps off. The middle button turns both lamps on to their dimmest setting. And then the one that is labeled on in our room turns both lamps on full blast. And so we can get all snuggled into bed or whatever. And if we're reading, we can have those lights on. And then as we're ready to go to sleep, we can just click off and it goes off, especially if one of us has fallen asleep. It's really nice. So we don't have to like, hey, Google, and, wait for Google to reply and wake up the person. So I find myself putting smart switches in more places than anything, and use timers and motion detectors. And then something, I think I mentioned it last week, but we haven't started. I haven't really done anything. I have a bunch of ESP32 devices, and you can set up Bluetooth presence detectors where they just listen over low power Bluetooth or whatever. And then you set like how strong of a signal it is that it listens for or whatever. And then it monitors for either a phone or like an Apple Watch or something with Bluetooth. And then if you come within a certain range of the Bluetooth presence detection device, it's like a motion detector, but it's more reliable because you don't have to be moving to stay present. It just, it pings every so often to see if the person is still there. And then, when I leave my office, it pings and I'm not there. Then it can shut off lights. So that's another thing that I wanted to set up. But yeah, I don't know. I really do like home automation stuff with with Home Assistant. So yeah, it is what it is. And I guess that's about it. So I guess we're running out of time. It's going to be Christmas soon. Tuesday, sometime during the day on Tuesday, and I don't know when, but sometime during the day on Tuesday, we'll stream whatever the annual Powers Family Scavenger Hunt ends up being. You just use the app on your phone or tablet. Yeah, I do. But the thing about that is, so my wife does use, here, I'll show you. You can kind of see. So these are, I have the bridge set up, the HomeKit bridge for Apple stuff. And so you can set up buttons and have them be a widget. So my wife does have HomeKit widgets on her phone. But getting out your phone is like, especially if it's like on the charger and you're in bed, can be a pain in the butt. So, so yeah, it's, yeah, it's a pain. So we just use the switch. But I mean, the nice thing is you don't have to pick one thing, right? You can do any number of things to control lights. I just love it. I'm a big fan. And I have a bunch of switches that I haven't installed yet. Like I have okay, I'll talk about the last one automation that I have set up, but I haven't done it yet. I have in our bathroom a motion detector, not a camera, a motion detector and a humidity sensor. And I want to put our exhaust fan in an automation. So when the humidity level in the bathroom gets to a certain point, it will turn on the exhaust fan. And then once the humidity drops down to an acceptable level, the fan shuts off. Now that would be separate from if a person just turns it on, they turn it on. But it'll also turn itself off after a certain amount of idle time. And as long as the humidity is low enough. The goal is I don't want to have humidity hanging out in our bathroom during showers if we forget to turn on the fan, so it should automatically turn that on. So anyway, I could. The thing is, and I already do have the motion detector and humidity sensor. It's the I just haven't put in the smart switches that can be controlled remotely. That's literally all I have to do is put in the switches. So I did the difficult part of it. I just haven't put in the switches yet. So, and it's new. The kitchen was remodeled when we bought the house, or not the kitchen. I'm sorry. The bathroom was a remodel job that we had to do before we could move in. So I know that the electrical has a neutral wire in the switch box. Like it can be a real challenge if the neutral wire is not in the switch box, but code requires it now. So I'm sure that that's there. Yeah, Lutron or Levitron. And I just have GE Z-Wave switches. I have a box with a bunch of them in there. I just haven't installed it yet. But yeah, there's so many options. I do love it. And Home Assistant is so great at integrating. So anyway, I could talk about Home Assistant stuff all day long, but I'm not gonna because it's almost the end of the day and I have almost worn holes in my lips from talking without having wax on my braces. So I'm going to go brush my teeth and put some wax on my braces before I start crying. On that note, if you're not around on Tuesday to watch the live stream, have a wonderful Christmas or whatever holidays you might celebrate. And hopefully I'll see everybody next Sunday. Yeah, I hope. I don't see why I wouldn't do a live stream next Sunday too. So I'll see you then, or maybe before. Finish out like we do on videos. Remember to learn everything, like Home Assistant stuff. Do what you love, and most importantly, be kind. Thanks for being awesome, everybody. I'll see you next time. Oh, it's new software. I don't know how to end it. Let's see. Oh, I think I got it. All right, bye, everybody. Oh, nope, that wasn't it. Oh, there we go. Okay, bye.